Okay, let's take a nice breath together, everyone. I'm one of those people that still says Happy New Year in March. So Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
I like to just hear everyone's name. We're going to do a work with, let's say, audible vibration and so on. But really, what these things are all for is to amplify and focus energy. And I'll speak more about this in a minute, but for me it's important that everyone's energy is included and incorporated and belongs to what we're going to do, because for me that's how things happen, okay? So that's a long-winded way of saying, can I hear everyone's name, please?
Anne Avery.
Thank you much.
Joyous.
Kathy.
Kathy. Terry.
Cody.
April.
Brian.
Super. Joshua. Can we one more? Can I hear an intention from each of you for this year to come?
I don't understand the question, sorry.
An intention for yourself. What do you want?
To learn to dance again.
Okay.
More joy in my life.
Peace. More fun. Peace.
To love myself.
Growth.
To be better than last year, and to maintain universal harmony, balance, joy, and love.
Beautiful. I would like to be more comfortable when there is a camera pointed at me. Lovely. Okay. Can I just see hands? For whom is this their first experience of sound and vibrational work? Yourself. Okay. Okay. Then I want to just give a few minutes to explain it and what it does and why and so on. And if the rest of you can just indulge me as I do that. So there is this expression, sound healing. I don't like that expression. And let me just give some context here. There are people that teach things, right? I know of no teacher in the world that teaches the full spectrum of everything in their field, okay? So I am one of those people that thinks the term sound healing is a little distractive. There are people that teach sound healing that don't think that, okay? So you might want to listen to what they say, because I'm going to say, for me, it's a profound truth that everything we require is within us. And all that we'll ever need is within us and within us. And so then when we start another conversation where we introduce externalities, for me that's distractive. What I think sound does do is support to get an environment prepared to better receive what is within us. Are you guys following me? So, if this whole room is vibration, this whole room, that little speck right there is sound. Because if everything is vibration, what we can actually hear and feel is the most minute fragment of a fragment of a fragment of that. And even what can be felt, we humans can feel like a tiny, tiny, tiny part of that compared to bats and whales and so on. So if we think about how does let's say sound and vibration reach us for the purpose of our betterment, it reaches us through our ears, of course, and the auditory cortex, the basilar membrane, neurotransmitters from there. You hear something nice, it feels good, right? Ears. It reaches us through our physical structure because we are partly solid, and solid things conduct a physical waveform, okay? So that reaches us as well. You've been in a loud nightclub or something like that, and you felt your knees and shins rattle because the music was so loud, right? It's similar to that. And the third is through our energy field. And if I'm talking about energy field, I'm talking about this part, okay? Because it gets vastly more complicated than that. and goes further out to the point we become each other, right? But I'm talking about this part where our thoughts, our emotions, our dreams, goals, visions, manifestations, relationships all live. This is the clearer this is, the less encumbered this is, generally the better we feel. And sound is a good medium for kind of clearing that up. I'll get there in a minute. We're human, and we live primarily in the third dimension. I could speak on how we exist in the fourth dimension, how we exist in the fifth dimension, but in the third dimension we have this thing called time. And people argue the toss about whether time is real or time is not real. Let's just say you're all stuck here for 90 minutes, and that's very, very real. The experience of time is relative. The time itself is linear. It just is. And so we have this thing called time, and it's a big part of our day and our life. Sound exists in time. You can't have sound without time, and so we as humans are quite well connected to that. We superimpose quite well. Also, we're not just third dimensional beings. We're vastly more than that. And so sound is this thing that exists in between what you can see, feel and touch and what you can't. So sound is like a bridge to it. Sound helps us experience things. Energy can move into and through sound. You know that's true because you all have a favorite song. You all have a song, let's say, that you will elevate a little bit when it comes on. Michael Jackson's that for me. So I've been a practitioner of this modality for about eight and a half years. I've loved music for an awfully long time. I got into this because, first of all, I'm slightly dyslexic. I don't read good. That's all we laugh. I'm slightly dyslexic, so my visual system isn't as strong as my auditory system. And also, when I started going to spiritual groups in London back like 20 years ago, and everyone's coming out of meditation and they've seen a pink unicorn fly across the room and poo in the corner and so on. And that wasn't me, that wasn't my story. I'd be the guy that came out of meditation and said, I saw a peanut. I still remember that. And then this lady goes, yes, I was thinking of a peanut. But anyway,
Synchronicity.
I know, right? I know. In my late teens, I started, recording and producing music, and I'm of the age group where we suddenly had available these keyboards that you could just record into, and you could get your hands on it, and you get your hands into the sound, and create music like that. None of the writing and scratching notes on paper. You could have music and sound in your ears immediately. And I did really well with that, and I started learning just by experience about frequencies and melodies and how they weave around each other, and I just got on with that. And so in my late 20s, when I started learning about spirituality, it was very easy to put it together. And actually the first thing I did in my career, if I can call it that, is I would create music for people. Create music for people to connect, to bring their aspects and attributes together, because we have words in our vernacular, don't we? Like we have words like scattered. I feel scattered, or I feel deflated, or I feel depressed, and these are all words that are in the kind of indicative of an energetic state of being. When we're like in 5 different places at once, I think we literally are in 5 different places at once. We're thinking about that, we're with them, we're worried about that, we're looking forward to that, we're regretting that, and we're scattered, and so there's not so much of us available in here to be present. And so music and sound can support that. I see people for a whole bunch of reasons, actually. If it's physical things, it's going to be the semi-solid things, right? So you're not going to see me for a broken leg, unless you need to be driven to the hospital. You would see me for like digestive issues, I treat people for blood clots and things like that. It's a very good modality for that. Thyroid issues, depression, anxiety, chronic pain, migraines, insomnia, this sort of thing, which is somewhere hovering in the middle of very etheric and very physical. Is things that sound is really good for. I see people that are about to go in for operations or just coming out of operations. I haven't been doing this for a while. There's a process that I like to work in. There's a sequence I like to work in, whether it's working on people individually like I was today, or working in group. So I always like to start with a clearing. Even if this was the best day of your life, you might have walked into a pocket of energy or driven into a pocket of energy, come in rush hour traffic and be carrying something, okay? And so we want to move that off you. And I'm using this word clearing, but really I'm meaning alchemize or transmute or raise to a higher version of. But really the point is to somewhat distance it from you. Because we as human beings, we do silly things like we think we are our mood, or we think we are our thought. And actually a lot of a spiritual practice, I believe, is to distance ourselves from that. Not to entirely disown it, but not to think we are it and only it. So we're going to do a clearing. You can see the gong and the didgeridoo here. Anyone never seen a didgeridoo? Good. I don't have much to say about didgeridoos, except for this lingering question of why someone chose to walk up to a tree trunk that was filled with termites and blow in it. That's going to be my first question for God when I die. Come on. And God's like, that was Harry. Anyway, so I use the gong in a similar way, for similar reasons as a chiropractor would use the rollers. So it's the first thing I'm going to do, and I'm going to use the gong, and I'm going to start to break up some of these impacted energy patterns that are in the room and hanging around us right now. That's not specific work, it's just to start to break it up. If you wanted to build a house, the first thing you need to do is break ground, yes? So after that, we're going to use the didgeridoo, and I'm going to go to each of you, and I'm going to be scanning your body, and I'm going to be hearing from the sound where there are areas of little blockage that are to be cleared today. Because that's all I have, as it were, the consent and permission to work on, what we can clear as a group today. And you understand this is a modality that is driven by intuition, and I'm going to go until I feel to stop. The thing we do after a clearing is a balancing or a recalibration, because I don't believe the human system is designed to be cleared so quickly. So whereas I would do that with tuning forks if I was seeing someone individually, we're going to do that through vocal toning. And that's allowing sound to just come out of our mouths, usually a vowel sound or something like that. Whatever the vowel sound that comes to you, that's fine. I do just want to say, I say this every time, that toning is not singing. Toning's not a performance, and you might love your voice. You're right, sweetie. Okay.
I was just clearing.
Yes. That's what you want when you're coughing. Someone's staring at you, isn't it? Toning's not a performance. It's not a thing that is good or bad. It simply is. So you might love your voice, you might not love your voice, but toning is not one of those things. It simply is. And for me, it's one spirit. It's one spirit given form, the form of sound. So when we come to that point, all I'm looking for is a sound, even if it's however it comes out. That's great for me. The purpose of that, you see, right now we're all oscillating in different ways, very different energy fields in the room right now. That's going to get us kind of oscillating as one. And when we get to that point, then we can raise our energy very quickly as one. You can see I've got the crystal bowl here. This is a looping station. What this does, I've got different tracks, and I can record sound live, and I can overlay it together. I'm going to record the bowl first, and then I'm going to record my voice, and I'm going to create a grid of sound in here. And through the grid of sound is going to come an energy. And the energy, that's what you're here, I would say, to receive. And you see, everything up until that point is preparing the space, is preparing your vessels to receive it. It's similar to, you know, when someone comes around and they're in a bad mood, or a family member or something like that, the first thing you don't do is give them advice. Because they can't receive it. Because they're hurting or whatever. Vent or talk or whatever, and then you see them relax, and then they can receive. And I believe that a lot of what we call healing, it's a very vague term, healing, but I believe a lot of it is about receptivity. And I'm not going to tell you what we're doing after that. Okay. People that do sound and vibrational therapy, everyone does it in a different way, in their own unique way. I like to use technology. And in other groups like this, I'll have a keyboard with me. I've done live composition before, but I like to use technology because with traditional things, because it can get us further. For me, the purpose of a group like this, is to get us as high and as far congruently as possible, and then of course weave it into our cellular structure so we can come home with it. Okay, I'm going to hit pause there. Any questions, anything anyone wants to say or ask at all? I don't believe I explained it that well. And Anna, do you want to ask anything?
Don't have any questions.
Okay.
You explained it well.
Well, if you say so. Okay, so just some rules of thumb as we go through this. I'm going to use this word comfortable a lot. I like everyone to be comfortable. If this is comfortable, then stay like this. If laying on the ground, and I'm sure we have some pillows and things like that, then lay on the ground. If these chairs look like fun to you, then chairs. I'm interested in you being comfortable, because if you're comfortable, then you can receive easier and more. That's what we're looking for here. Secondly, to say if the sound at any point is abrasive or unpleasant to you, because everyone's sensitive in their own ways, aren't they? And I won't know that yet, which of you is particularly sensitive. If that is the case, I just need to see a hand go up, and I can change something. I can even you, Brian. Okay. I can do something in a different way, or turn it down, or whatever. And then, as always, I'll say, if you need the bathroom at any point, you just go. You just go. You don't wait. You don't squirm. You get the gist. The first thing I'm going to do is open the energy with a prayer. It is my prayer. It helps me connect. Sound healing is nothing without a greater presence, and really anything we can do to allow that in is going to support us in every way. Anyone need anything before we start?
Do you want pillows and blanket?
Yeah. I just got a pillow.
Okay.
There's one blanket here, and I just put some pillows up. But yeah, there's, most of you know there's stuff in the bathroom. You know. There's always something. You good?
Yeah.
One blanket.
Actually, I'm going to do that chair over here.
You want that chair?
I'm going to take that chair.
Okay.
Yep.
Blanket, Cody.
I think not like a pillow on my legs.
Okay.
All right, blanket. Thank you.
You want a pillow?
Well, I get the whole row to myself. So what's the lights?
Oh, I just like them.
Okay.
I do too.
I like them, and it's kind of a focusing of energy.
Yeah.
Do you need over here?
You wanted a pillow?
Are you gonna do this chair?
Did you?
No, I was gonna finish that
What?
question.
I'm sorry, did you want a
Need this
pillow?
chair?
Oh,
The rest
I'm
of
traveling in.
Is that what, or your back or something?
I'm moving away from you.
Sometimes the seat gets
It's not in the way.
uncomfortable.
Do you want a pillow?
But I do better
I'm
sitting down.
joining you.
I'm
Okay.
good now. This is good.
Awesome.
Do you wanna move this chair? No problem.
Just,
Right
yeah.
there?
I just, you know, we're gonna.
Yeah. There you go.
Should it matter which way I have to lay? Okay.
Really, from this point, there's nothing you need to do. Just encourage you to close your eyes, breathe naturally. Heavenly Father, Mother, God, Goddess, pure sweet essence of love, of light, vitality, sweetness from source, we welcome you into this space, magnified, amplified, purified, to surround and envelop us in that sweet nurturing embrace of divinity. As we together, as one group, we connect beneath us to the Mother Earth, we ground ourselves. As we together, as one group, we connect above us to the Father Sky, and we prepare to receive. I call with appreciation to our higher selves, our greater aspect. And I gratefully ask this greater aspect to lead, to take dominion over our lower body. For this time we connect together. That the greatest amount of grace be received into our bodies, into our physical lives. I humbly call to the four directions. I gratefully ask that there be archangelic presence in each corner of this room. That this be a safe, a love-filled, light-filled space that we all can open up within, we can receive within. We can allow our spirits to expand within. I call for the highest and greatest blessing for each of us. The love, ease, grace, and fluidity that is naturally ours. And we say, Amen. So let's close our eyes. Be comfortable in our space. And we'll begin with the clearing. energy that is simply observing and feeling. As we take some brief moments in silence, silence is the most important sound of all, because out of the silence comes all things. We shall move on to the balancing work of this evening, which we will do through vocal toning. Vocal toning is simply allowing the sound to come forth from your lungs, your voice box, your teeth, tongue and lips. This sound is perfect. I shall go to each of you. You will feel me gently tap you upon the shoulder. When you feel me tap you upon the shoulder, please allow your beautiful sound to come out. And please tone continuously. You will run out of breath, of course. So when you run out of breath, you take a breath and you continue. And you run out of breath, so you take a breath and you continue. When you feel me tap you upon the shoulder, please begin to tone with your beautiful voice. your breath and just observing. Observing how you've shifted your state of being, the size of your energy field, the clarity of your energy field. As we move on to do a work, in order to receive an energy now, there is nothing you need to do. Just continue to breathe and feel. responds to your breathing. And with each breath, your energy field undulates, waxes and wanes. So let your physical and energy body move together, aligned. Your energy fields are particularly expanded at the moment to support you to sustain this for as long as possible. I invite you to breathe some violet light all around you. This very high frequency cleansing energy. Let it go all around you, even behind you, beneath you. And now bringing your attention to the central column of light that goes all the way through your body. It follows your spinal column. And with your breath, let this extend downwards into the earth. Letting it go deeper and deeper as it grounds you, connects you with the earth. Let's now take some deep breaths for the whole body. Deep, full breaths, bringing some attention and consciousness into the space, into your body. Just to support you to come back more fully, you may wish to gently rub your cheeks, your forehead, the back of your head. We're going to take a break for a couple of minutes. Go to the bathroom, cup of tea, drink of water, that sort of thing.
I'm good, thank you.
I have a question for you. The last time you were here, you made a comment about sound.
Thank you.
And you said there's no judgment with sound. Do you recall that?
Yes.
Would you tell when whatever I don't know what you're gonna do next, but that was so profound for me. So it'd be nice to hear that again. It's your real purse.
Put the heating on higher.
Do it.
Shall I put the heating on?
Want me to turn it up?
Is she cold?
I'm always cold.
Oh.
Sitting on a pillow makes a difference in these chairs.
Yeah.
Yeah. It does. Yeah, but it's much more comfortable.
Okay, let's take a breath together. A unifying breath together. Okay. I'd like to just give everyone a break at this point because otherwise it's like looking at a bunch of zombies. So if anyone would like to say or share anything from what they experienced, the door is open.
I had a friend that died yesterday,
Yeah, I'm sorry.
and I have a lot of peace now for him. Yeah.
Right. Thank you for sharing.
I sort of had a flash of like where I saw like a broken plate. It was like 3 pieces, and I just kind of saw it like come together. So, a quick flash of
Yeah.
if that means anything.
Well, incredible symbol, do you have any feel for what the plate represents?
Been doing a lot of, trying fixing myself lately. And, it's this past new year, I feel like things are kind of coming together, I guess. I don't know if that could have something to do with it, but
I think so.
I think there's a lot of changes happening right now.
Thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
No, having been through these before, it was really easy just to let go and just really sink into it. And so I really enjoyed that. It was wonderful.
I'll get to your question in a minute.
That's okay.
Yeah. Anyone else at all? Been a question for you all. Is anyone feeling headachy, nauseous, anything like that? Super, great. She asked a question for me to explain something I explained another time. I referred to sound. What was your question exactly?
You had made a comment about sound not having judgment.
Right. Yes, 'cause I forgot to say this earlier on. A lot of what gets us bent out of shape as people and humans and breaks things apart is information, words, content, logic, reason. And so I can talk, I can make a sound. I'm making a sound right now with words, but that engages the left side of the brain and keeps us in a brainwave activity pattern called beta. But the pattern that the body starts to put itself back together, so to speak, is alpha. And that's a slower brainwave pattern. And people will say that they don't meditate well, or they can't meditate because they don't know how to get from beta to alpha. And if we're talking about sound not having a judgment, we're talking about a sound like that, or a sound like the gong. Now you might like these sounds, or you might not like these sounds, but you can't agree with it. You can't disagree with it. You can't analyze it. You can't pick it apart. So one of the things that happens, I'll just point in your direction, Anne. One of the things that happens with sound therapy is when you're using longer sounds, unpredictable sounds that don't have information in them, at some point the left side of the brain just stops trying, because it's looking and it's looking and it's looking for a pattern, it's looking for something it recognizes, looking, doesn't find it. This is after 6, 7, 8, 9 minutes, and that's when the shift happens. And all these other things happen in tandem with that. So if I'm talking about sound not having a judgment, words, yeah, there's lots of judgment that can be heard or received in words from anyone. In intonations, accents, all these things with words. But a sound is just a sound. That's what I'm trying to convey.
That was just very profound for me when you mentioned that last time, and it's just really stuck with me. Really like that.
Okay. So let me recap what we've done here. We started with the clearing. That was the louder sounds we used with the gong and the didgeridoo. And the brain entrainment shift, if I can call it that would have been starting to happen there. The second thing we did was, for my vernacular, a balancing, a recalibration. That's what we're doing with our voices. And that was bringing us from singular and separation into unity and togetherness. And not by thinking, okay, by action. We got to that kind of motion. And you could hear in your sound probably that it was a bit gravelly, maybe at the start, and then it got clearer. You all feel that?
Yeah.
Well, some of you did. That got us oscillating together. It also got our energy, it also raised our energy very high very quickly. And you guys who are coughing, that's great. There's something being cleared out. It's good. I will never stop people coughing. You know, a lot about this work, something about this work, sound, which has no judgment, is it can get in very deep. Because we put up barriers, don't we? We put up barriers. You know, simple questions like, how are you? No one really answers that in an honest way anymore, do they? But with sound, you know, the mind doesn't get engaged with it, and so we open up quicker, and so out it comes. And conventional behaviour would say we shouldn't cough loud in public, but this isn't a conventional thing we're doing here. We're doing this to really honour the body, the bodies, each other, and so on. What we did after that, I would call an activation, because I had where we had got to right then was a very receptive state, a very balanced state, in which you could easily receive an energy. For whatever reason, it was a little choppy working through that today. I couldn't tell you why. The only thing that matters is that it happens. And the last thing we did was with the flute. Probably heard me playing the flute. What we're doing there is an integration. And as I say, it's one thing to connect to higher frequencies and do things like this. But I think it's equally, if not more important, to have that weaved into our bodies, so when we walk around, we're radiating that. Or when we're walking around or doing our stuff, we're accessing it, whether we know it or not. And the it is supportive energy. The it is moments of clarity, reason, insights, patience, grace, all these things. And here we are now. So, I would like to close the energy from this. I'd like to just put a hand on my heart. You guys do as you like to do. We say, Blessed Mother, Father, God, Goddess, we thank you for what we've received this evening. We thank each person in the room, because each person that comes makes it easier for the rest to receive and connect. We give gratitude to this beautiful space and to the guardians of it. Gratitude to those in spirit who work through groups such as this to move energy around us and give us so much and ask so little. Gratitude to the amplification, to the instruments, to the recording, that other people can receive this. To the ever-present spark of God, Goddess within, we acknowledge you, we thank you, we call to you, we say Amen.
Amen.